Okay, so let's create a simple cartoony character using Maya. And so the first thing you could do is just create a primitive, let's just say sphere, and I'm just going to like bring it up. And so we can begin with this. As you can see, it's rather anti-aliased. You can click on this just to increase the quality in the viewport. Alright, so we can begin with something simple like this, and then what you can do is basically hold down Shift, right mouse button, click, go to Sculpt Tool, and there we go. We've got the Sculpt Tool here. If you go to Symmetry, you can actually switch it on. So we want to be symmetrical this side and that side, which is the X, so World X, and there you go. If you hold down B, you can actually click and drag the mouse, change the brush size. M, click and drag the mouse is the actual strength of the brush. And so there you go. I'm just going to quickly grab my pen, and so what we can do with the let's have a look. What we can do with the sphere here is just basically do some kind of basic shape. And so what I want to do is go into grab, which is kind of like the move brush in ZBrush, and as you can see it's got pretty wonky there. The reason for that is basically it prefers if you hit 3, which is a smooth mode in Maya. And so let's go back to the grab brush, and it should work, as you can see. And so basically just do a basic shape. And now I'm making this up as I go along, so because I'm just basically demonstrating, the technique that I tend to use when doing kind of like, just simple kind of cartoony type monsters. Let's do some kind of back there, and maybe he's got a bit of a fat belly. There we go, kind of sticks out a bit much. We can switch off the grid here, boom, there you go, and just maybe something simple like this for now. Maybe just narrow it a little bit for the head bit, and that'll do. Just say something like this. You can hold down Shift and just smooth the geometry if you find like it's a bit too lumpy or something. So something like this, maybe just stick it out even more, kind of give it that kind of shape. Why not? Maybe do it at the back as well. Maybe bring the back in a bit more. Alright, just something simple like that. Okay, and so let's get out of the sculpt mode. Boom. We can switch symmetry off now. And so basically this is what we have. And so it's just a start really. And so what we can do is basically think about where the eyes are going to go. And so let's just grab a sphere. Where are you, sphere? There you are. And we can just bring this forward. Let's make it a bit bigger. And so from 20, if you want to, you can cut it down to 12. And get the eye to face us. There we go. Oops, hold down J and it kind of snaps and increments. And so, it's up to you where you want to place the eyes, or how small or big you want to make the eyes. If you do big eyes, it kind of looks fairly goofy, especially if it's sticking more to the side. Say like this. And just bring it in. Maybe that's a bit too much to the side. And something like that. And let's have a look. Maybe a bit more to the side. There we go. Something like this. What you can do is hold down Control D to duplicate it, Control G to group it, and the reason for that is because it puts the pivot in the center, and scale X -1, and we can flip the other eye over. And so the reason why I do that early on in the stage is because I just want to take a look at what it looks like with both eyes, if it's the kind of look I'm going for, and yeah, why not? That seems fine. So then you can delete the duplicated eye. So we've got the eyeball, and I'm just going to kind of bring it bit like this, maybe bring it in just a bit more. And so with the eyeball done, it's probably best to label it. So left eye, then I'll do Control D, duplicate it, and then that's going to be the left eyelid. And what I do is I'll make sure I've centered the pivot, so click on this, boom, and I make the eyelid just a bit bigger. And then what can we do with the eyelid? We don't want it completely closed off like the eye. Probably delete these row faces here, so probably want it just at this level here, maybe even less. So basically I just want this row of faces here, which is going to act as the eyelid. And so we've got that done, and so we've got the eye, eyelid, just a general shape here. We need a mouth, and so what I like to do with a mouth is draw it out with a curve. I'm going to hit 4 So you know, we can actually see through it, and go to create curve tool, CV curve tool, and draw kind of a mouth. So now it's up to you. Do you want him angry, smiling, whatever? And so just click, and maybe it's kind of like that, like smiling. Now I only do half because at the end of the day we're only going to model half, and then just duplicate it when we are done. I tend to like hold down X middle mouse, boom, and it snaps to the grid, so we know this curve is exactly, well, the edge of the curve is exactly in the center of the screen. And so what we can do is just bring this forward now, and there we have it. And so next thing I like to do is grab the geometry. I'm going to hit 1 just to kind of lower the resolution, and then if you go to mesh and hit where are you, smooth, boom, there we go. I've added more resolution. Divisions 1, let's do 2. So there's a lot of I'm going to delete the history as well on that bump. So there's a lot of resolution on this, and the reason for that is so the projection can work much better and cleaner. And so I've got the curve selected and the geometry selected. Now I want to project this from the front, so go into the front view, go to edit mesh, project curve on mesh, boom, there you go. You see we have what appears to be half a smile on here, and if you grab the curve itself, let's just center it, boom, and if you move the curve, it actually moves the projected curve on the geometry as well, as you can see. So that looks pretty good. And you can even do it individually with the CVs here. So if I grab these CVs and move them about, you can see it moves about on the geometry as well. I'm going to make this a bit bigger actually. Maybe not. That'll do. Maybe make it wider. Give it a wider smile, perhaps. There we go. Why not? And I think that's a bit too low, so I'm just going to bring it up a bit more. Maybe here. Let's over that. Boom, boom. Maybe create a bit more of a curve. Yeah, that'll do. So here we go. That's done. Now, if you select the curve and the geometry as well, and then delete history, the curve no longer has any influence on the projected curve. Now, when you do a project curve, it also projects it on the back, so we don't want the back. So delete the back curve, and there you go. And we can get rid of this curve as well. So there we go. For the eye, let's just put it on the layer for now, so we put it out of the way. Also, with this eyelid piece here, we can just where are you? Smooth, boom. Yeah, just increase the quality. 2, why not? There you go. And then we can grab these two meshes here, and then just go to mesh and combine. Where are you? There, boom. Delete history. That's center pivot actually. That's delete history, and that's freeze transformations. It's already frozen. So there you go. So this is just like a very basic quick cartoony character. And so what is all this about? Why am I doing this? Well, if you select it and then go to this magnet icon here, make live, and you know it's made live because it goes dark green, and then grab the quad draw, boom, and we can actually start just retopologizing. And by following the curve, we are actually creating the mouth. And there you have it. And so I'm just clicking the button and it creates these little green dots, and once it's created a potential polygon face here, 1, 2, 3, 4, hold down shift and it colors in green, and click the mouse button and it fills it in with a blue face. So click, hold down shift, and there you have it. And so basically what we're doing now is just shaping out the mouth. It's really that simple. And that's the mouth bit done. And then you've got we can actually bring this down perhaps, maybe trying to keep it consistent. Then obviously you know, we have the eyelid here that we need to work on like that, and be careful not to go over the edge, you see. So there we go, boom, bring that, there we go, and just keep going. And so, you know, creating the eyelid, and you just need to connect the polygons. It's that simple really. This is a simple character, so we didn't create like the arm connections for the arms. Let's just say we did out of interest. It would probably be something circular like this you would need to do, you know, if you wanted to create an arm socket, so the arm can connect to the you know, if you model the arm separately, you can connect it there. But we're not doing an arm for this, because this is just a quick demonstration of the technique. And again, you know, just keep on going basically. Oops, where am I going? There we go. There we go. It's fairly stretched out, that's fine. Just nice big shapes. When you've got no details, you can just do nice big shapes. Remember, we're only doing half because we're going to duplicate it over anyway, so we'll just mirror the geometry over. And yeah, just keep going around really until you've retopologized the whole thing. And there we go. You know, I'm rushing this a little bit, but you get the drift. So, you know, just take your time getting it right. There we go. So by looping the faces around here, we've actually created the eyelid now. And so really all we're doing now is we've got to like just attach all the polygons until we have complete geometry finished here. And so there we go, boom. Oops, not there, but sometimes it's a little bit difficult to read, so you've got to cheat by bringing it close, and it still hasn't. Sometimes it doesn't like the placement. So what I'll do is hold down Shift Control and click and get rid of the geometry here, and then I will attempt to do it again. You see, then just connect that. Come on, that should automatically connect. It hasn't. So Shift Control, delete it, and it's not deleting. You see, it's somehow it's giving me a bit of a problem. There we go. So the reason why there's problems, it's when you have the two pieces of geometry combined, and so it sometimes might get a bit confused. As you can see, this is very low res. If you want to add more resolution, just hold down Control and it creates an edge loop. Boom, there you go, like here. Boom, and it conforms to the shape better. And so maybe just add a bit more resolution here, and there we go. That should be problem solved. There we go. So boom, and just continue moving all the way around here. Again, see, this is causing a bit of a problem here when it goes crazy. Let's have a look. So let's get rid of it and let's try again. So let's get rid of this dot. See, it's acting weird. So see, it's acting weird. You see, I want it to attach to this here, and it's not. So let me just get rid of this and let's continue here. There you go, that's better. And now, yep, there you go. Let's see if it behaves itself now. There you go. So you just delete the faces and start again. And again, you know, look, it's acting a bit weird here. It's not accepting this. So delete. Let's just delete that dot as well. Let's do it again. And there you go. There we go. That's better. There we go. And there you have it. We're nearly there. We are nearly there. You remember, you only need to model half, and so, you know, if you look in the front view, you can see that this black vertical line represents the midway point in the scene. And it doesn't matter if you go over it a little bit because we'll deal with that at the end. But so it's generally around this area here is half. And just basically continue really, and let's have a look. That's stretching a bit too much. You don't want to stretch the geometry a bit too much, so what we can do is do this and then make the geometry go around that way, and so that is better. And let's have a look what we can do. Maybe So there's kind of you got like a weird kind of shape here. Normally you can use something like this to create like a frown in the forehead or some. If you don't like that, now if it looks a bit weird, you can just actually get rid of it and just continue like this. Another thing you can do is hold down shift, and if you move the mouse along the edges here, you get to smooth the geometry, which is pretty cool. I tend to do it towards the end. There we go. So it kind of evens out the distribution of the faces. So it's basically holding down shift. There we go. Okay, so we're almost done, as you can see. And again, you know, if you hold down shift, you see you get to smooth the geometry out. So we're coming across here. Let me just move this across. There we go. And there. So it seems a bit kind of tighter around here. So again, let's just relax the geometry. So we're spreading it out equally, as you can see. There we go. So that looks much better. And it needs to be more like that because it's around here. That's kind of like the halfway mark of the model, and don't want to go too far over. There we go. So basically, just continue with this, and so boom, boom, and if you want to, you can loop it all the way around. So it's, let's hold down control so you create an extra edge loop. Boom, boom. There we go. So it's kind of looped like this. So I'm just using the relax. So I hold down shift just to relax the geometry, just to even out the spacing a bit better, as you can see. There we go. And so there we go. I just kind of even out a bit more. There we go. Maybe add some more geometry there. We can move that up across now. And so we're almost done now. As you can see, let's just relax this so it's kind of spread a bit more even. And we can do that, and that can go here. And a bit messy here, so let's take a look at what we can do. And that can go there, that can go here. And add some more resolution here. There we go. So these are all four-sided. And so what we can do is just now do a relax and just distribute the topology a bit more evenly. There we go. Alright, so let's just say that's done. Boom, click off it. And we can get rid of this now. Let's switch off the make live and just get rid of that. There we go. Delete. And we can get rid of the curve as well. So this is what we have. So if we hit 3 and switch off the wireframe, we can see we have our character. So next thing we need to deal with is the center point here. As you can see, it's crossed over by a lot, and so we need to deal with this. And so let's grab this edge loop here, as you can see, and if you go to mesh tools, slide edge, we can just slide it across like that. There we go. So it doesn't cross over here, it's almost crossed over as you can see. So let's slide a bit more. Now this is the edge of the model here, as you can see, and not the inside of the mouth bit. So make sure you're in wall mode, and we want to go in this direction here, and as you can see it's acting a bit crazy, and that's because of a setting I probably have from a previous model I did. Go into the modeling toolkit. Can you see here transform control, not transform control, transform constraint, and it's set to surface. Just put it on off, and then X middle mouse, boom. So we snap this and it's now right in the middle. It's pretty close there, but we'll deal with that later. And the way you can deal with that is just select this edge loop here and click on edit edge flow, boom, and it kind of, and we can do it on this one as well. There you go, and it kind of has a similar function to the relax brush that we were using when we were doing the polygons here, and so it evens out the distribution of the geometry, as you can see, and it creates a much smoother curvature in the geometry. And so it looks a bit crazy here, so we can hit, so I'm hitting G to just repeat the that's command, and let's hit 3 and see what we got. And there you go. And then so what we can do is we're in world view, and as you can see world view here as well, which means it's in the center of the scene, and we want to go this way, which is -X. So if we go to, where are you, mesh, mirror, X minus world. I always leave it on custom. By default I think it's automatic. If you leave it on custom you get to define the threshold, and 0.001 is perfect. So mirror, boom, and there you have it. You can see there's kind of a bump in the head there, and that's because when you mirror there's always a fault in the central edge loop here. So double click it so you have the entire edge loop selected, and you know, watch it pop into place like from here and here. As you can see it's going to pop into place by going to edit mesh, edit edge flow, boom, there you go. And so let's hit 3 and you got your character, and you can see it's still a bit lumpy here. And what you can do is do the edit edge flow again until you're happy with what you got. And the reason for that is because the geometry actually bunches up quite a bit in the middle here. So let's see if we can remedy that. So this side looks much better. Now I only did one side because what you can do is just delete half, boom, that bit included. So you know, you just delete half and just mirror it over. And so last time we did -X, but this time it's +X, and so that means you've got to change the settings, because if you don't and do the mirror, you see it goes a bit crazy. However, you can actually change it after the fact you've done the mirror. So here where it says direction minus, click on it and just do plus, and there you go, job done. So let's hit 3 now and take a look. Now it does look a bit better here, as you can see, and so we can just grab this again and just do an edit mesh, boom, there you go. So let's hit 3 and see what we've got. A couple of lumps here again. It's because the geometry looks a bit crazy. You can spend some time fixing it basically, and what I will do is do an edit edge flow like that kind of thing, and do it there and here and here and here, and basically just go back and forth on it. Now this time around I did both sides just so I didn't have to do another mirror, and so you know, if you take a look, it's starting to look much better. And if you want it perfectly smooth, you're just going to have to work on it a bit, but you know, might like that. But usually on top of the head, you know, the character has hair or horns or like a hat or something, so it's not a big deal, but I just wanted to quickly show you. And then we can bring the eyeball back in, you see, boom, there you go. Let's hit 3, so we've got the eyeball, and the beauty about the eyeball is, you know, you can actually like move it around, so it's looking at different directions. And we haven't done with the eyelid yet, so let's just select that and hit extrude R for scar, and we can just bring it in to great depth, and we now have an eyelid, as you can see. And to make this crease more pronounced, you can actually double click on it and then hit bevel. There we go. And same here, hit bevel. There you go. And what else can we do? Well, let's have a look. There might be a problem. I'll show you what I mean. I think I spotted something. Now, if you double click on a row like here for faces, so click once, hold down shift, double click, and it stops, it means there's a problem with the geometry because it shouldn't stop. So let's do it, say here, and double click. You see it goes all the way around and it just stops there. So there's actually like something wrong with the geometry around here. And if you hit 3, you probably won't be able to tell, but there's something here. Let's have a look. And I'm going to click drag. It says 3. See, it says 2 vertices selected when I only have. It looks like there's only 1 selected, but it says 2. Shift, right mouse button, click, merge, merge, boom. So now, see, it goes all the way around, which means it's now fine. Right. So we've done that, and what we can do, let's have a look. What can we do? Is just mirror it because I did the eyelid here. And let's just delete history and -X. Mirror. See, can you see? There's a gap there. So when you've got a gap, it means it's the vertices here have moved off the center. So X, middle mouse, snap. There you go. And so now it should work. Where are you? Mirror. There you go. And so boom. And grab this, Control D, G, Scale X -1. There we go. And we can ungroup it. So as long as the make sure your pivot is centered, you can actually move the eyeballs around, and it always stays within the eyelids. You see, so you can get them facing any direction. And so finally, with the mouth, it's just grab the edge loop around it again, and then hit extrude. What did I do? Come on, where are you? I hit bevel, extrude, and we can just push it in, or W for move and just push in the world space. There you go. And that's generally the mouth done, as you can see. And what you can do is just grab the edge here and again bevel it. There you go. And then obviously you can start doing teeth and like a tongue and the throat and so forth. You know, to do the throat, what you want to do is just continue with the let's hit extrude and continue with the mouth and go all the way down basically. And perhaps in the side view you can actually start working on how to do the throat. So you bring the geometry down, maybe like bring it down like this, and as you can see you're starting to work on the throat. And bring the geometry down again. And let's have a look. Spin it around like that. Arthur. Scale, hold down J and then snap. And let's just bring it in like that. And so as you can see, that's the throat done. Now it goes through the geometry, obviously. You don't want that. So what we can do is just delete this bottom bit. So this is the last bit we did, and just delete it and just keep it at that. And obviously we want to kind of improve on it, so maybe just add some more geometry. There we go. And what we can do to smooth this off is double click, so we've got the edge loop, and then just do the edge flow. There we go, until you have a nice smooth edge. And so there you go. Now you still see some of the end of the geometry here, and so the best thing to do is to basically just attach it, and so we can again just split the model in half. And for some reason I always forget to do that bit. And what you need to do is basically just start attaching it. So if you grab this edge here, hold down shift, grab that edge, you can actually bridge the geometry. There you go. And just hit G to repeat, and just keep doing that. You know, the geometry gets in the way though, that's the thing, you have to be careful. There we go, and here, and there, and come on, where are you? There. And then let's just grab this multi-cut tool, and we can place, there we go, an edge loop here. So we can grab this edge and that edge and bridge it, and do the same here. 1, 2, 3, 4. As long as it's four-sided, it will work. And there you go. And then we can just grab this edge here and hit add edge flow, just so it will kind of smooth this off a bit better. There we go. And maybe just bring this down a little bit into the corner. Hold down D and click on this edge, and it aligns with the direction of the geometry. So when you pull the vertex in, it follows the direction of this geometry. And so something like that, I think. Yeah, not too bad. Maybe like that. And W, left mouse button, click component, and so it's facing in the direction of the normals. I'm just going to lift this up a little bit more, and also here as well. And there. Okay, so there you go. Let's hit 3. So we've actually done like the inside of the mouth. Now you can actually add more details, like if you want to create like the if you take a look inside the throat, it's not actually smooth. It actually, some of the skin actually overlaps like this, or folds in on itself. There you go. That's kind of a bit more realistic for the inside of the throat. Let's have a look. Let's just bring it forward here as well. There you go. So you got the inside. You can also do tonsils if you want, and let's mirror. As you can you see the little gap there? It means it's not directly in the center. So let's grab the geometry, and remember X middle mouse snap. There you have it. Delete some of this history, and mesh mirror. There you go. Yeah, he could be looking directly at you. He's angry for some reason. There you go. Basically, now obviously, you know, you want to do teeth. What's the quickest way to do teeth? Perhaps just grab a cube, just make it a bit bigger. It depends how big or small you want this teeth to be. Let's just bring it forward, and let's flatten it a little bit, and maybe grab this edge and that edge, and let's do a bevel. Add a few segments. There we go. Fraction. And so we're kind of creating a tooth, as you can see. Maybe make it just a bit thinner. Don't need the top bit because we're going to like intersect this with the geometry itself, and it kind of looks like it's a bit too long as well. But it depends how like big or small you want his teeth to be. What you can do is grab this multi-cut, hold down the control, middle mouse, click, and so it puts an edge loop directly in the center of the geometry here. So we can delete the back half, because all we need to do really is model one half, and then we can just mirror it when we're done. And so basically, let's just connect these edges. There we go. And I'm going to do this. So I'm just creating like a supporting edge. There you go. And these aren't four-sided, so click, click, connect. and so we have a four-sided geometry, and so we can grab the edge here and then just do a bevel. And this is a bit too close, as you can see, so what we can do is just kind of move the geometry here out a little bit. There we go. So it allows us to create like a wider bevel. Oops, God, there we go. And so let's just add some segments. Let's make the fraction bigger. And we basically, just have a basic tooth, really. And so what we can do is DV, middle mouse, snap it, and make sure the pivot lies at the edge of the model from the point where you want to mirror, and it's -Z. So -Z, remember that. So hit mirror, and then just go to object Z minus, and there you have it. So we've got the tooth. We can play around with the shape of it if you want, and to do that let's just add a bit more resolution. And so just hit B for soft select, and we can just kind of just play around with it, perhaps not make it so straight. He's got a bit of a crooked teeth, something like that. There we go. And so obviously we just want to put this in the mouth here. Boom, there we go. And perhaps not have it directly in the center. I'm just going to center the pivot, and maybe something like this. And let's rotate it to follow the shape of the mouth. I'm going to go back, Control Z, because I want to make this a bit more interesting. And so basically let's just go to deform, and let's where are you? Lattice. There we go. And let's just drop it down to 2, and I just want one in the middle, not that side here. And the reason for that is I just want to bend it and just make it a bit more interesting. There we go. Maybe even widen it at the top, and it kind of narrows at the bottom. Yeah. Delete history to get rid of the lattice. There we go. And let's just bring it here, rotate it. Let's go into object mode. And maybe just bring in a bit more. Control D to do another copy of it. Maybe that can go, say, about here. Let's make it a bit smaller. Let's bring it in closer. Control D. So we'll do another one. Maybe even do that. There we go. And so what we can do is grab all three, Control D, G, Scale X, -1. Boom. If you want to, you can ungroup it. There you go. And it doesn't have to be perfectly aligned, as you can see here, so we can play around with the positioning. Maybe this one is, there we go. Maybe bring this one, maybe this one sticks out a bit more, maybe it kind of rotates a bit like that, so it's kind of damaged. And maybe this one goes in a bit more as well. And so there you go. And if you want, you can repeat it, put it at the bottom. You can also do a tongue if you want to do a tongue as well. But basically, that's what it is. I mean, a tongue again, you just want to grab a cube and then just kind of hit B to get rid of the soft select. Let's just push it out. I don't know, do you want him to stick his tongue out, or it's entirely up to you. And I'm going to get rid of the back faces there. And again, for a tongue, you don't want it to be like squared off, so let's just round off the edges of that. And let's bring the fraction in. Maybe like something like that. So you've got the tongue there. It looks a bit too thick. There we go. And click on this little square here. You can isolate select, so you can just focus on the work that you're doing. In this case, the tongue, and basically we just want to connect the geometry really. That's it. It's as simple as that. Come on, where are you? There we go. And there, there. Boom, boom, boom. I was a bit careless the way I placed the, as you can see, I accidentally created extra vertices, so I'm just going to merge them, just merge them. Alright, I'm going to get rid of that, delete, and now merge these two. There you go. Grab the multi-cut. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. So just basically add another edge loop here, and everything is now squared off. We can do the same at the bottom, or do a edge loop here and say boom. So DV, middle mouse snap to the edge of the model from the point you want to mirror, and so this time it's -Y. So let's just hit mirror and go to object Y minus, and it did not work. Oh, because it's plus. Did I have it upside down? Yeah, there we go. And for some reason only half. That's kind of weird. No, it doesn't matter. We can now mirror plus X. So mirror plus X. And so as you can see, it's not exactly perfected here. There's some extra geometry here that we need to get rid of. Let's have a look. 1, 1, 1, 2. Okay, so it's gone a bit crazy here. So Control Z, and let's see. So it says 1. I've actually got rid of it now. 1, 1. That's why this heads-up display is really good. And to find it, just go to display. Where are you? Polygons. No, heads-up display. There we are. And it is this one, polycount. So switch it on, and it gives you the heads-up display here. And so let's do the plus X mirror now, and it's plus. And so as you can see, there's still a problem there, and so let's actually deal with it once and for all. 1, 2, and there we go. 1. Another thing we can do is actually make sure that this is centered, and as you can see, it says 11. There's an odd amount of vertices, which it should be even. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that seems fine, but double check. What you can do is just merge vertices. There you go. So now we can X middle mouse, boom, make sure everything is centered, and now let's try. Also delete all this history, and mesh mirror X plus, and it's still there. So and let me see. Alright, okay. So I'm just looking for the culprit. Okay, so it was in object mode. Make sure you are in world mode when you do the X and snap to the grid. Now let's see what happens now. And there you go, problem solved. And so let's hit 3. This is what we have so far. So this can be like the tongue. And again, you know, just add some more details to it. And grab the mesh tools, offset edge loop, click, drag, and there you go. And so with this central edge loop here, I've selected all of the vertices. Now we don't want them all, we just want the ones at the top. So we can actually say go to the side view, hold down, control, click, drag, and there you go. So we only have like the top vertices selected, and we can just like drag it down, and so we are creating that kind of dent you see in the middle of the tongue. There you go. And if you want to, you can continue it here as well, and just kind of bring it in just a little bit like that if you want. There you go. And again, you know, if you want to spread it out a bit more, you can do that. So you can make it wider. It's up to you. So anyway, basically that is the tongue, but as you can see, it's just straight, and you don't really want it straight. So what we can do is actually go to deform, non-linear, and do a bend, and with the curvature we can actually bend it. There we go. But let's put the bend deformer in its correct position. So we want to rotate it, say about 90 degrees in this direction. So 90, so when you do the curve, okay, it's still going in this direction. We want it to go up or down. So we now want it to go 90 degrees in this direction. So minus 90 by the looks of it, and there we go. And then we can, with the bend deformer selected, we can actually like control the amount of curvature on it. So kind of maybe something like this. Something like that. Once you're happy with it, delete the history. So the bend deformer is now gone and it's been baked into the geometry. Let's hit 3 and let's take a look at the tongue now, and we can just kind of move this into position, maybe like that, and center the pivot, and it was, but I like to make sure, and maybe just make it wider, give him a wider tongue, and maybe have it sticking out a bit more. There we go. Maybe rotate it a bit more like that. There you go. And yeah, seems fine. And if you feel that it's a bit too flat here, you can always kind of bend it even more. And so you just introduce another bend deformer, and you know, maybe, you know, we want it to go this way horizontally. Let's have a look. Let's put it in world and just move this bend deformer. So we want to put it 90 degrees. There we go, something like that. So you can either go that way or down. And so it doesn't seem like it's 90 degrees actually. So look, yeah, it is. Yeah, it's perfectly straight. Okay, that's the problem with the perspective view. As you can see here, focal length is default at 35. If you click on the camera from 35, I like to type in a much longer lens, so it actually flattens the model when you're viewing, when you're modeling it and viewing it, and so it just decreases the distortion. Anyway, so let's go back to the bend deformer. Where are you? There we go. So we can actually use it to actually start, you know. You can do that with a tongue. You can bend it this way, you know. So just gonna put a little bit. So 0 and just a little bit like that maybe. Okay, so delete, and I'm gonna grab maybe, let's have a look, here and hit B for soft select, and hold down B, left middle mouse button, and just grow the brush size, say something like that. And I'm just gonna kind of like lift it up a bit more. There we go. There we go. So, and then, you know, you could do the tonsils and just have some bottom teeth to it, add some horns, whatever you want to do. So this is basically modeling simple cartoony characters in Maya. Thanks for watching.